Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Neptune conjunct one's natal ascendant. Now, when you have transits that involve Neptune, it can be about dissipation, dissolving, idealism, inspiration, hope, deception, and duplicity. Now, when you have transit Neptune conjoin your natal ascendant, it could be about dissipation and idealism, inspiration, even deception and duplicity. It could be self-deception connected with the physical body. You have to be careful if you do experience this transit in your lifetime, because it might be an overestimation of what you might be able to do physically. If you have it, I mean, say Sagittarius, it could be some sports or athletic thing. It could be something where you might, this again, Neptune could be about dissolving and dissipation. It could be a weakening of the physical body. It could be about something, maybe you might be experiencing some deterioration. If this is, say, in Capricorn, it could be bone deterioration. The ascendant is also connected with the outer demeanor, our facade, what we project outwardly very naturally. So it can be you might be coming across a little bit more deceptive than usual. You don't, it maybe even, it could be, I mean, Neptune energy could be very nebulous and unclear. So people might even be seeing you as a little bit more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual. And it could be about, where you're going in life as well. There might be more confusion. And the appearance, Neptune is, I'm sorry, the ascendant is also about our appearance. It can be something where you might don like maybe a mystical type look or ethereal type of appearance, more so than usual. At this time, it might be something where, um, when you look at the ascendant could also be associated with our outlook on life. And you might be looking at this where your outlook might actually be more idealistic, more so than usual, and in an outlook where you may be trying to overlook others' transgressions and be more about forgiveness than you may have been previously. The ascendant is also associated with new beginnings, so this may manifest in some cases as Neptune, like new beginnings, and also having more inspiration and idealism in connection with starting new things. And it could be something Neptune related, like photography or chemistry or the metaphysical, which includes astrology. First house people in general, maybe a little bit more nebulous or unclear. They might be, let's say, I mean, for the ascendant can be connected with a grandparent. It may be somebody that also, it might be the ascendant also is associated with early childhood. So it could be somebody that played a prominent role in your early childhood. It could have been a classmate, perhaps, or somebody that was in your neighborhood when you were very young, that you knew well. It could be somebody that turned out to be a close friend. It may be also too where when you look at this as well, in a grandparent and even someone that was prominent, played an integral role in your early childhood, maybe coming across a little bit more deceptive and duplicitous, more so than usual. The ascendant is also associated with our vitality and energy. So it may be a time too where you might feel dissolving and dissipation of this. You might feel some weakness in your energy level at this time, and it could be something where that even if this could be a time where it might be a little bit harder to get to actually put things in action, because again, this is your you're talking about the ascendant, the physical body, and it has a connection with our vitality and our energy. So that stamina that was there may not be there quite as much, and it might take a little more effort to get things done, more so than usual at this time. The ascendant is also associated with first impressions. So it might be a time where you could make an impression that might be, where you're more about, inspiration and more idealistic than usual. It might be too where looking at Neptune is also connected with dreams. You might be appear to be like a dreamer, maybe more so than usual on a first impression. Again, I'm being very idealistic, more so than usual at this time, and it could also be something to where, I mean, the first house, I see it being connected with courage, because the first house in astrology corresponds with the zodiac sign Aries. So it might be a time where your courage might be a little bit dissolved, more so than usual, and it might be where, escapism might factor into how courageous you may act in a certain situation. It might be something where you might rather just be, more passive in situations that might involve confrontation more so than usual. The ascendant is also associated with the qualities that we easily and naturally express. So it can be where you may be expressing more, Neptunian type of energy that's very easily expressed. It could be being inspirational, idealistic, forgiving. It might be more passive at this time, more so than usual, and it could be, and also maybe even more intuitive. I mean, the Neptune is associated with psychic receptivity, and the thing is, the ascendant can also be connected with defense mechanisms. So it could be a time where there might be more confusion than usual and how to act in an unsure situation. Um, this is something like, say, if this is in Taurus as an example, it can be, well, am I going to be either put up a stubborn, obstinate front or facade, or one that's more composed and more calm and placid in a situation that you may not be quite sure how to act. And it could be something where it could also be about Neptune new starts and beginnings. It could be something with as for example, the metaphysical, photography, chemistry. Metaphysical could include astrology, poetry, dancing, doing work on the boats, working on the sea. It could be, dock work, or something where, one way, or working in filmography, working as a magician, something connected with illusion. Now, special effects. Now, another thing too, in remote cases, it may manifest in some disappearance, whether it might be you that might be escaping. You might be trying to, just doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be abducted or anything, but you might be a time where you might decide to escape, and you want more isolation at this time, more so than usual. Could also be a time too where the first, or the disappearance, it could be about the disappearance in a first house person, such as a grandparent or somebody that was prominent in your early childhood. This can be, remember that the ascendant again is connected with the appearance, so your appearance may be a little bit more disheveled, more so than usual at this time. Um, Even if you have, like, say, a strong dominant Virgo influence in your chart, as an example, because Virgo, of course, could be just the opposite of Neptune energy, because Virgo is often very meticulous and very clean and neat in their how they want to go about things, which can include the appearance. And there could also be a greater propensity for drowning at this time, and this is very isolated, of course, in something, or being more involved in drugs and alcohol. Some of you may have remembered renowned singer Whitney Houston. She's also an actress. So she, in 2012, I believe it was, she had drowned. She was submerged in her bathtub, and they said it was something that she had some kind of drugs in her system prior to drowning. I think there was some heart situation going on with her as well. And the thing about it is, at this time, she had transit Neptune, may have been around 8 degrees from her ascendant. Now, I know that's not a conjunction as far as aspect orbs go in astrology, but I don't think we could say definitively that an astrological energy doesn't feel a vibration in a transit when it's 8 degrees away. I do believe this may have had something to do with it. I think she also had, like, Chiron conjunct her ascendant in Pisces in her natal chart as well, and that obviously didn't help. And I think she also had, I believe, Neptune in the 8th house of death in her natal chart, which could be manifest in a death by drowning. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, it could also be a time where spirituality may figure more prominently in your outlook on life at this time, more so than usual. And as I was stating before, the vitality it could be a time where the energy level may be deteriorating, and it might be harder to really take action in certain matters because of this. You might be feeling more lethargic than usual. The thing about this too is you might find yourself as well more impressionable to your environment. So it's very important at this time, especially like say if you're in an environment where it's nefarious at this time, or you're at a high crime level, or there's a greater proclivity for drug and alcohol use, that you don't allow yourself to be influenced by this. Especially you're not if you're not a person that's a heavy drug user or drinker, because it's a greater chance that you could be more readily influenced by that kind of behavior more so than usual at this time. Now, it could also be a period of drifting at this time. It might be something where you might have a little harder time staying with some kind of direction. You might feel like, or objective, because you might be a little bit more nebulous and unclear at this time, more so than usual, as to what you want to do. Just in general, whether it's connected with the life, it could be new beginnings, especially since we are talking about the first house. Now, in isolated cases, this could also this could express perhaps some Neptune physical related issues. It could be some problems with the feet, the toes, the immune or lymphatic system. Say if this is in Gemini, it could be something with the lungs for breathing issues. That may be it might be due to pneumonia, which of course, I mean, this could be connected with a reduced immune system. And also, as far as this being that I was talking about the drifting element before, that can be connected with this transit. Say again, if this falls in Gemini, it could be flavored with more restlessness and more mobility, even, I would say. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay up.